sort of blogosphere, Twittersphere. I'm not from the 21st century. Please don't ask me to use these words. But Ted Cruz called Nelson Mandela an inspiration for defenders of liberty, and on his Facebook page, commenters, including this person who couldn't spell Mr. Mandela's name, called him a communist and said he was involved in torture, terror, and murder, and that they had lost a lot of respect for Senator Cruz. It is amazing to me the vitriol that exists in parts of American society for people like Nelson Mandela, who should be a hero for everybody the world over, and especially here in the United States.
Well, he was a political person, and so people are obviously going to have political feelings about him. I mean, kudos to Senator Cruz for ignoring what is being said on his Facebook wall and going. He obviously wanted to go. It's clear that he
which
was
may be less about Nelson Mandela and more
and a little bit more about Ted Cruz. Right.
But, you know, Jonathan, in fairness, if we're talking about conservatives who are, quote-unquote, doing the right thing, Newt Gingrich called Nelson Mandela one of the greatest leaders of our lifetime and got a boatload of criticism, to which he said, I was surprised by the hostility and vehemence of some of the people who reacted to me saying a kind word about a unique historic figure. What would you do here in America if you had that kind of oppression?
And this is the good Newt. This isn't bad Newt who calls the president a food stamp president. This is the good Newt, who's the historian who recognizes Nelson Mandela for who he was and what he represented. And so to see Newt Gingrich not only say a nice thing about Nelson Mandela, but then to come back and go at his critics and forcefully and unequivocally was amazing.
Well, and give Newt credit, because this is not a recent conversion on Gingrich's part. This is, you know, when these debates were spilling over into the United States about sanctions and imprisonment, Newt Gingrich, as a backbench congressman that would soon become the speaker, was, you know, intellectually honest in saying, you know, what we did in starting the American Revolution was we used force against oppression.
Yes.
And he could not understand how conservatives could sit by and say, you know, we're not going to get involved in the notion of equal rights in South Africa. So Newt deserves credit not just for this recent statement, but for, you know, 20 years of being on the right side of this issue and ultimately of history. I
mean, Newt awarded Mandela the Congressional Medal of Freedom, I believe, in 1995 or 1996. So we know there are two things that Newt really likes that we also may like, one of which is moon bases. I think we can all agree on that. And the other is Nelson Mandela.
Zoos. 3.
Zoos. Well, I don't really like zoos. But, well, dead silence.
Okay.
Dead silence there. We're going to break. Coming up, a blast of winter weather cripples travel on the roads and in the skies.